All right, y'all, I'm up. So, just want to let y'all know this video dropped around 11, so right now it's 12. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this video because I know we got two videos coming out, but y'all stay tuned for that. Let's get started with this.
Well, it's around like 40 to 50 minutes before this Raw episode is ending, and I'm having to shut it off yet again. I cannot tell you the last time I actually watched an entire, full episode of Raw from start to finish. Kind of the same with SmackDown, to be honest with you, but that's just the position that we are in. This episode of Raw is one of the worst episodes of all time. The amount of garbage, the bad booking. Triple H, I do not know how this guy still has a job as a booker. I don't understand what the disconnect is. I don't know what we're getting at. You have had consecutively at least, because I've been saying Raw's been bad now for over a year, but let's just say we go with what people are generally saying, at least some people, that Raw's been bad pretty much since after the Royal Rumble. That is 5 straight months of bad Raws. Monotonous, boring, uncreative booking, bad matches, the same matches over and over again, bad backstage segments, bad in-ring promos, no hype, no intrigue. Why do you think that you started off with 6 million global views and now you struggle to get 2.8 million? It's not like what do you think this is? You think people are tuning out because the show is good? Of course they're not tuning out because it's good. They're tuning out because it sucks. There is zero effort, there's no star power, and nothing on these Raws matters. Name me a couple meaningful and actual impactful segments that have happened on Raw this year that don't involve either John Cena, The Rock, or Roman Reigns. You will not be able to find anything. You'll be able to find literally nothing at this point. There's nothing to look at. Because we know that usually Cena, Roman, and Rock, they're going to have meaningful segments anytime that they show up most of the time. So we have to count the stuff that doesn't include them because they're surefire going to give us something. Outside of that, what has anyone else contributed? Nothing. And we see that with Rollins' opening promo, because we're just going to jump into this. This was so garbage. We're just going to jump into this. Rollins comes out and does the same thing he's been doing since WrestleMania 41. Actually, it's been going on for longer than that. Rollins has been cutting the same promo for like over a year at this point. It's the same thing. He brings up CM Punk. He brings up Roman Reigns. Mind you, he hasn't had an interaction with CM Punk in weeks. He hasn't interacted with Roman Reigns since the Raw after WrestleMania, and we're still talking about these guys during his promo. That lets you know how stagnant this dude is on the mic. Nothing is changing. Nothing is developing. Nothing about this faction is getting over. The crowd doesn't know whether to boo or whether to cheer. They don't know whether they're bored or not bored. They don't know whether it's interesting or not. And the reason why is because this booking sucks. What kind of heel comes out? Because that's what Rollins and Heyman and these dudes are supposed to be. Paul Heyman is absolutely a joke at this point, by the way. Same with Braun and Brunson. But the point is, Paul Heyman comes out. He doesn't even speak. He doesn't even speak anymore. What does Paul Heyman contribute? Please, can someone answer that question? What is he contributing anymore? Nothing. Nothing, man. The Seth Rollins comes out, and he is a full-blown heel, allegedly, asking for a pop. He asks the crowd to sing his music. He motions to them with his hands. He's like, sing my music. He's expecting them to sing his music. He's expecting them to say his name, Seth freaking Rollins. Call him a visionary. Say it's Monday Night Rollins. What is this? Are you a heel or a face? The booking is just atrocious. This is exactly why you never, ever let Seth Rollins be the number one guy on your show. Because if you do that, this is what you're going to get. Declining viewership and bad storylines that don't feel like main event level stories, okay? Seth Rollins acts the same way as a face that he does now as a heel. And he basically starts off the promo saying, you guys are sending me mixed signals because I'm a visionary, a revolution. He asks the fans, what do you want? He says the fans are giving him mixed signals. They don't know what they want. They're confused. The one moment they're chanting for CM Punk, then they're chanting for Roman Reigns, and they're chanting for him. It's because the fans are bots. They're bots. They do whatever they're told. They're absolute sheeps at this point. Whatever they're motioned to do by the wrestler, they're going to do it. It's embarrassing at this point, man. This faction is garbage. It is garbage, man. These fans are absolute. They just go with whatever they're doing. Cody Rhodes, we are bots. You know the chant. You know what this is. So it is what it is. Rollins then asks the fans, he's like, what do you guys want? And I'm like, I want this faction to end. Can we get that? But anyways, Rollins continues to keep on speaking. He then basically says that, the fans don't know what's good for them. And he says that he put Roman on the map. He put Punk on the map. And the only reason Punk came back is because of how much Rollins hated CM Punk. So they brought him back because of that. Obviously, that's not true. On top of that, he also says that he brought Cody Rhodes up to prominence and he put Cody Rhodes on the map. Like, it's, listen, I haven't seen the final 40 minutes of Raw. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that in the final match after Jey Uso loses to Cody Rhodes in that match, which he's going to, they're probably going to have Rollins and his faction get involved. What is that going to improve? What is it going to do? Like, it's not going to do anything. This faction does not do anything, man. They sit there and look stupid. Bron Breaker goes out and barks like a bot. His career is done, which we're going to talk about Bron Breaker in a second, man. His career is obviously not done, you know what I mean? But you get what I'm saying. His idea of being a superstar and the next superstar of the generation is just dead. That's not even an option anymore. If you think this dude is going to be the next Roman or the next Cena or the next Orton or the next whoever the heck you want to insert in there, he's not going to do that, and everyone should know that by now. Anyways, he says that he's the reason for Roman, Punk, and Cody being put on the map and them becoming prominent in WWE. And he's like, I built these guys. Okay, so if you built these guys and they're on the map, why are you not on the map, Seth? Huh? Well, why are you not on the map? Why are you playing second fiddle to all of these people? You're not bigger than Cody Rhodes in the current landscape of WWE. You're not bigger than CM Punk. You're definitely not bigger than Roman Reigns. You're not bigger than The Rock. You're not bigger than Cena. So what exactly are you talking about? It just becomes nonsensical at this point, man. It's a problem I have as well with Gunther's promo later in the night, which we're going to talk about Gunther. Gunther, the ring jobber, Gunther. We're going to talk about him a little bit later, but that's...
Damn, both men looking sad. I'm sad, I know, yeah. I'm sad, I know, yeah. Who am I? Someone that's afraid to let go. You decide if you ever gonna let me know. Suicide if you ever try to let go. I'm sad, I know, yeah. I'm sad, I know, yeah. Long live X. Well, let's get back to the video.
That's not the point. Seth Rollins basically says he is the past, the present, and the future, and he basically says that the finish line is him cashing in his Money in the Bank and taking back his championship. You know, taking back a title that never lost. Yeah. This is my brutality. I'm gonna take back my title that never lost. Yeah. No. Gosh, man. This promo was so boring, it delivered nothing. I am so tired of Seth Rollins peddling this narrative that because he shows up every week, by the way, he's doing nothing when he shows up most of the time, but anyways, he said he tries to make this thing seem like, oh, because he shows up every week, that everything Punk and Roman do is like just irrelevant at this point. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? Roman Reigns has been the top draw in the company for 5+ years at this point. He was the main champ for 4 out of those 5 years. He's the best storyteller. He has the biggest and best matches, you know what I'm saying, on PLE stages and stuff like that for 5 years straight. He carries the company. He's the lead guys, you know, selling most of the merchandise, you know what I'm saying, before like guys like Punk and Cena got back in the mix, etc. It's not close. Roman Reigns knows what it's like to be the number one superstar in the company and to carry it on his back while Rollins was doing Monday Night Messiah, while Rollins was jobbing out to Logan Paul at WrestleMania. You know, he obviously won the match, but you're fighting a jobber at that time in Logan Paul. You're fighting Austin Theory for U.S. titles. I mean, this is a joke. You understand that? We have to stop this narrative that Rollins is anywhere remotely close to either of these dudes. Yes, Rollins is maybe a better in-ring performer than Punk and Roman Reigns. I understand that argument. But anything else, any other metric of being a great entertainer and great performer, having charisma, having promo work, having stories to tell, having memorable moments, it's not close between him and Punk or Roman. So it's like, stop. Roman and Punk are above this guy. I'm sorry to say it. I like Rollins, but come on now. Stop the nonsense.
I actually like the Seth Rollins promo, but whatever.
Anyways, we then move on from this, and we get Bron Breaker versus Penta. This basically becomes the final straw in Penta's run. Penta is a jobber. We have to understand these things and act accordingly. This guy does not deliver anything anymore. I mean, he never really was to begin with, but the fact is that fans let people get over now because, oh, well, he put on a good wrestling match, man. He put on a good wrestling match. You can find good wrestling on like 50 different types of companies at this point. Do you understand that? Nobody cares if you can put on a good wrestling match. Tell me a story. Cut me a good promo. Have an engaging feud or an engaging story to tell. Stop going out there and just having this dude had a good match. I don't give a crap if you have a good match. You know how many wrestlers you can find backstage that can put on good matches? Well, come on, man. That's not enough anymore. Penta is clearly struggling in this match. I think he got injured at one point. He hurt his leg or something like that. He looked very slow. He looked kind of out of shape in this match. It was very slow. He was like walking through this match. It was very odd, and it just wasn't entertaining at all. Bron Botcher, which I'm going to start calling him. Bron Botcher is just a botch machine. He wrestles very sloppily. His strikes and his stomps and his punches look very fake, and they're not very, fluid at all. I can't tell you the last time Bron Breaker's cut a promo, and a good promo even at that. He hasn't done anything on the mic, really. He hasn't told any stories. He hasn't had any good feuds that have lasted longer than a month or two. I don't know what this dude is contributing. I genuinely am not. I don't understand this. Why would you put him in this faction? He has to be saddled down now as one of the, the younger people they're trying to position as one of the top stars of the next generation. And Bron Breakker is sitting down being a mindless hive mind bot jobber under Seth Rollins' rule. How do you have 2 Intercontinental Championship reigns? And you mean to tell me that Bron Breakker goes from that to inexplicably being Seth Rollins' lackey? Bronson Reed fighting for the IC title last year. Now he's okay after feuding with Seth Rollins the last time we saw him. Now he's back, and all of a sudden he's working alongside Seth Rollins with no explanation. No explanation for Bron Breakker joining this faction either, and there's no real explanation for Rollins being chosen by Paul Heyman. Why would Heyman not just choose John Cena or choose Jey Uso, who was actually the world champion at the time? There's no reasoning for any of this stuff, but we're supposed to just sit back and be like, who's the 4th member? Who's excited for the 4th member, man? Who wants to see Ricky Starks? Ethan Page, man, he's up. Stop. This is a jobber faction, and you know it. Anyways, this Bron Breakker versus Penta match was full of botches. It was boring. It was uninteresting. And quite frankly, the ending was a botched ending. Bron Breakker hits a spear and completely spikes his head on the ring mat because he botched it and missed his timing, I guess it was. But he ends up winning the match. He took a Penta driver and kicked out. Nobody cares. After this, Seth Rollins goes up to Penta and tells him, hey, man, watch out. Stay out of our way. Let's just move on. I have nothing to say about this. This is just so stupid, man. Nothing is being developed on any of these shows. That is the biggest issue. Nothing that Seth Rollins has done from the end of WrestleMania to now has developed at all. What has changed? He has a briefcase. Congratulations. What else has changed? What has elevated or developed about Bronson Reed or Bron Breakker or Seth Rollins in the last 3 months? Thank you. Now let's move on. Now we get to the card of Night of Champions. AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio has officially been canceled off the card. So now your Night of Champions card, as of the making of this video, has 4 matches? You have you're gonna have Cena Punk, Jade versus Asuka, which is gonna be a botch fest. We'll talk about that in a second. We're also gonna have Cody Rhodes probably versus Randy Orton, and then you're going to have Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. You're going to have 4 matches on this Night of Champions card. Just think about that for a second. 4 matches on a premium live event. Do you know how disrespectful it is to your fan base that watches week in and week out just to follow up and get 4 matches every 3 or 4 weeks on a premium live event? Oh man, what an embarrassment.
It got canceled due to a fake-ass injury, but the reality of it is that you should be talking about right now is the fact of the matter is that one of them canceled because they don't want to fly to where the war is starting, and that's Iran. So obviously none of them want to be abducted or kidnapped or stuck on a flight. So obviously one of them said, no, I don't want to go. So that's why the match got canceled. So now that we have, and we don't just have 4 matches, now we got 6 because we got Rhea versus Raquel and we got Sammy versus Karrion Kross. So luckily Karrion Kross get to, pretty much be on the PLE, including Raquel. So now both of them got, first ever single matches and a PLE. And you got to thank Liv Morgan's injury. And also, you also got to thank, the AJ and Dom for backing out. So now I believe we got 6 matches. So yeah, they're going, man. Rhea going, Raquel going, Karrion going, Sammy going. And now we just have to say a prayer for everybody and just hope they'll be safe. I wish CJAX would talk about that, but he's too busy talking about Raw. So I don't know if he's going to talk about it at the end, but yeah, man, pray for everybody's safety, man. Yeah, but let's continue.
Then we get Goldberg. Oldberg. Goldberg comes out and he's in a little interview segment with Michael Cole. Remember, this guy's career is literally going to end in 2 or 3 weeks' time, and he's not even showing up on Raw tonight. He's showing up in an interview segment with Michael Cole. Really? Michelle Cole. That's what we're getting. We're like, the dude, stop. This is embarrassing at this point, man. Goldberg talks about the lack of respect that Gunther has for him. He says Gunther didn't respect me at Bad Blood in front of my family. Because of that lack of respect, I'm going to F Gunther up at Saturday Night's Main Event because I respect you, Gunther. I love you, Gunther. I need you, Gunther. Like, what is everything about respect and love? Everything is about love. I care for you. I appreciate you. I respect you. I need you. I love you. Like, what are we doing? When are there ever going to be a legitimate feud with a face and a heel? The heel is super hated and the face is super beloved. They fight for the World Heavyweight Championship in a big fight field match that's entertaining, engaging, and has a great story leading into an actual really good match at whatever the show that it happens on. When are we going to get that ever again? I'm genuinely waiting for it. We have not had what I just talked about. We have not had that since Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at Mania 40. Genuinely. It has not happened. We have not had a face that everyone wanted to lose, or that most people wanted to. Well, I don't even know, man. That was a really divisive match. But you get the point. You had a full-blown heel that was doing great heel work and actually was treated as a heel by the company, by the booking, and actually by what the heel was doing, what Roman was doing leading up to Mania 40 and leading up to the whole entire 4-year championship reign that he had. And you had Cody Rhodes, the big baby face that everyone wanted to finish his story and do all that stuff. And you had to build up. The Rock was a massive heel who actually was hated leading up to that Mania 40 build. You know, you hated it, but you loved it. You hate it, you love it, you like it, you don't like it. The Rock is the guy. You know what I'm saying? The Rock is that dude. But at the end of the day, this stuff that we get now, we have no legitimate faces, no legitimate heels. Well, you do have legitimate faces. You just have no legitimate heel threats that actually are believable and that actually have heel heat, you know? It's like, when is that ever going to come back? I just don't know, man. We're getting 58-year-old Gunther or Goldberg going out there and wrestling against Gunther for a world title that's meaningless. But anyways, it is what it is, man. Then we get to Roxanne Perez versus Jade Cargill in a absolute botch extravaganza. This match was full of messy botches. Nothing to really talk about here, quite frankly. Obviously, Roxanne Perez loses this match. There were multiple just terrible and just very patchy and messy moments in this wrestling match, man. It's like Roxanne and Jade just like have no idea what they're doing out there. But as I covered last week in that video about Rollins exposing WWE for the fraudulence that it's doing right now in triple fraud, the fact is, at the end of the day, WWE wrestlers, Seth Rollins said it himself, don't get mad at me, get mad at whoever the heck is choosing, TKO, Triple H, whoever's choosing to shorten the live events because they can't sell out because no one cares anymore. Anyways, don't get mad at me. The point is this is a full-blown fact what I'm about to say. WWE wrestlers wrestle barely any live events. They get guaranteed contracts. Therefore, they have less incentive to actually practice their wrestling moves, practice matches with their opponent, get used to having chemistry with who they're wrestling with, get used to fighting that same opponent on live events over and over again, so that way when we would get the TV match of the same two opponents, it would be amazing. But you don't get that anymore. You get no effort, you get botches, you get messiness, you get sloppy endings, sloppy movesets, unsure moves from the opponents. They don't even trust who they're wrestling with or working with. It is an embarrassment. This is not acceptable content. And I'm going to let you know right now, this episode of Raw, I started after I shut it off after I finished it. I was low-key going to call it a 2 out of 10. I'm going to have to probably put this at a 0. Unless the stuff that I missed, which I'll catch up on and review later, unless that's great, this is probably going to get a 0 out of 10 just because of the lack of care and lack of effort. After Roxanne loses this match, Jade Cargill basically looks at Asuka up on the ramp and that's it. Nobody cares. Gunther then comes out and he actually cuts an okay promo, but it's actually a bad promo now that I think about it because genuinely, it's a promo on Goldberg. Goldberg is the most low-hanging fruit to make fun of like ever in wrestling. He botches moves, he gets people injured, he's 58 years old by the way, and on top of that we know he's not going to win the match. So like they gave Gunther some low-hanging fruit to cut an okay promo on to make him look good. We're not going to get fooled by this garbage. Anybody that you know who can't even cut promos could probably cut a decent promo on Goldberg because he's old, he's washed, he botches, he has no idea what he's doing anymore, he's on one knee at this point. Like, what is there not to make fun of at this point, And Gunther basically says the legend of Goldberg is going to die. The legend of Goldberg is already partially dead amongst a lot of the fan base who doesn't like seeing this dude wrestle. They don't like it anymore. They're tired of him botching. They don't want to see him anymore after what Vince booked him like in the 2010s. They're done with this guy. And you know what? It is what it is. But the point is this promo was boring and it's not believable. Gunther is not a believable heel. Why? Because he tapped out to Jey Uso in 5 seconds at WrestleMania for the world title. So until I see Gunther beat a legitimate, credible opponent, not Patrick McAfee or Jathan Uso, like until I see him actually beat someone who actually matters in an actual clean way, maybe once that happens, I'll finally believe that this dude is a credible threat. But until then, none of this stuff is believable. He basically says he's going to end his legacy and make sure Goldberg's legacy dies, and says that he was embarrassed to even be in Goldberg's presence last week, yada, yada, yada. He says he's the best wrestler on the planet. And again, none of this is believable because Gunther was just world champion, had an awful reign, and wrestled 7 title defenses in 260 days. Can you please explain to me how you are the ring general? The last time Gunther had a great match was at SummerSlam, in my opinion, last year versus Damian Priest. So it's been going on 11 to 12 months dang near at this point. Dang near a year since Gunther has had a genuinely great match, but yet he's calling himself the best wrestler of this generation. Do you see what I'm saying? None of this stuff is believable. This is not a good promo. This is stupid, it's boring, and it's absolutely useless. We then get Karrion Kross backstage. He's going to fight Sami Zayn. Does anyone care about this? No. Let's move on.
I do. And just because this is Karrion Kross first ever PLE, so at least this year, so I say let's watch it. Well, if we can watch it.
We then get a little snippet of what's it called, of Cody Rhodes doing a podcast with Kevin Owens, the same dude he was just fighting at the Royal Rumble. And 5 months ago, he slammed Kevin Owens' neck through a ladder. Dang near broke Kevin Owens' head. He basically, that same person, they're now doing podcasts together. This is why kayfabe, and listen, I don't really care a lot about kayfabe necessarily, but stuff like this is just blatantly ridiculous. You cannot be on a podcast with the same dude you just slammed through a ladder 5 months ago. We just know that this stuff is all a work and it's all fake and all bad. This is poorly executed, man. You see, it's just like how The Rock was drinking libations with Cody at Raw after Netflix. It's like, what are you doing? You were just beating and blooding this dude outside of outside of the arena like 8 months ago. But at the time of Raw Netflix, it was like 8-9 months before that happened. And now you're drinking libations with this dude. Cody slams this guy's head through a ladder, and now all of a sudden Cody Rhodes is drinking libations with Kevin Owens on his libation bus. I don't even, what is happening to this program, this company, this show, man? It is so dreadful. We then get Becky Lynch versus versus Bayley for the IC title. I would talk about this match normally, but I am infuriated at the fact that you knew from the beginning of this match that Lyra Valkyria was going to unnecessarily get involved in this match and ruin it, and it would turn into a triple threat feud. This is corny. It is BS, and it is absolutely ridiculous. Why would Lyra Valkyria even need to be involved in this match? Why? There's no reason other than to force some BS triple threat match that no one cares about, man. The booking is so uncreative. It's so bad. Lyra has no reason to be out here, and yet she's out here anyways. She's ruining the match, and now we have to fight or watch another fight between these three jobbers. Come on, man. I understand that Becky Lynch and Bayley all time their legacies. Yeah, they're not jobbers in their legacies, but right now, they are jobbers. They don't contribute anything to my entertainment on a weekly basis. Let's be honest, This is just so stupid. It's so infuriating because you know how something stupid is about to happen, and it still happens anyway. Lyra Valkyria is forced out in the most non-effort, nonsensical, stupid match ever. It ends in a DQ because Lyra puts her hands on Becky Lynch, and then she, Bayley and her have a little bit of at odds, and then this turns into just some triple feud. Becky retains. I don't care. This is stupid. I'm going to be honest. If this match is added to Night of Champions, or to any PLE in the coming future at WWE Evolution, whatever, I'm not talking about it. I'm making you that promise right now. I'm done talking about this championship. This is the most nonsensical and infuriating booking decision of all time. How can you possibly get away with this non-effort garbage every time and no one says anything about it? How? This is so bad, man. This is so embarrassing. Anyway.
Well, I disagree. For one, Becky and Bayley are not jobbers. That's for one. Number two, I did ask this a couple of months ago. I think 2 months ago, I asked, do you want this at Evolution? And 67% say yes. 11% said no. 11% said, let's wait till Money in the Bank. And 11% said, let's wait till Saturday night's main event. So, yeah, they want this at Evolution. Not saying we're going to get this at Saturday night's main event or Night of Champions. We're definitely not going to get this at Night of Champions. But we're definitely going to get this at Evolution. And honestly, I'm looking forward to it. And FYI, Becky is not a jobber. Let's get that one thing clear, okay? Including Bayley. And to me, Lyra's not a jobber either. But, hey, y'all could comment down below and say what you want. But other than that, they're not jobbers. Not at all. Not at all. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to that triple threat match. It's going to be cool. So, let's get to the video. Let's get back to the video. Yeah.
We then move on to, what do we have next, man? I think it was some, like, what was it, man? What happened? Yeah, Raquel Rodriguez comes out and she cuts a promo. It was an okay promo considering the fact that no other woman in the women's wrestling division as a whole is cutting good promos besides maybe 2 or 3 people, if that. So anyways, Raquel cuts an okay promo, calls Rhea Ripley out to the ring. She then basically says, you know what I'm saying, she speaks Spanish and English, like a mixture of both during the promo. Rhea Ripley then comes out to the ring, and long story short, Rhea Ripley and her are brawling out. You know, they bring out the Slim Jim table, slap into a Slim Jim, dude, and go through the table, bro. After she brings out the Slim Jim table, Raquel Rodriguez is about to get put through it, but then Roxanne Perez gets involved and gets on Rhea's back, kind of bothers her a little bit, you know, distracts her. Raquel then power bombs, Tejada bombs basically Rhea Ripley through the announce table, or through the Slim Jim table, sorry. Pretty cool stuff, all right? It's pretty cool to see, you know, some table action on a Monday Night Raw. You never really see that as much anymore, so that was nice. Raquel and Roxanne are they're basically, like, I guess, teaming up now, you know. Roxanne gets helped up by Raquel after. They hug for a second, and it looks like they're now going to be the new tag team of the Judgment Day. They're going to recycle the same storyline that we had last year, where basically, Rhea got injured and left for some months, and then Liv Morgan worked her way into the Judgment Day, and then obviously we had a situation now where Liv is unfortunately injured, so now we're going to get, Roxanne Perez is now going to be teaming alongside Raquel Rodriguez. Probably she's going to become the interim tag team champions together, so there you have that.
Okay, I just want to stop the video real quick to let y'all know that Raquel got some new merch for the summer, dog. And it's black and gold. It's going down for real. Now, the price is not right, but hey, the shipping is free with the code on the bottom. So you already know, if you got an extra 40, go ahead and cop this merch. Because this merch is on fire. And this girl is on fire. Raquel is off the scale with this merch, dog. And also the link is going to be on the bio, so you already know. Let's get back to the video. Raquelio!
And now catching up on the stuff I've missed, which, again, by the way, remember, I didn't see the last 45 minutes of this show, and the only stuff I missed were this backstage segment where Io Sky and Asuka are basically alluding to the fact that they have a potential world title match if Asuka can win the Queen of the Ring, and then you had the main event with Cody and Jay, bro. This is why I say you literally missed nothing on these shows at this point. How is it possible that in 45 minutes of Raw television, that all there was a backstage segment with Penta and Chad Gable, a backstage segment with Io and Asuka, which was like a minute, if max, if that was probably like 40 seconds, and then a Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso match. That is what you get every 50 minutes of shows. You get one match and a couple backstage segments and 50 ads. It's embarrassing. Io Sky and Asuka, which, by the way, again, Io Sky has one match, by the way, since WrestleMania 41. So it's now been how many weeks now? It's been at least, 9 weeks, I think it is. 9-10 weeks at this point since Mania 41. Io Sky has had one match, and it was the night after Mania. It is just, like, dude, it's so embarrassing. I don't care about this segment. They basically were alluding to the fact that they could have a potential match, obviously, if Asuka wins the Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that match.
And then the main event was Cody versus Jey Uso. I will say, this match actually looks like it was pretty decent. I saw some of the highlights of it. This looks like it was a decent match. Jey Uso used Cody's finisher with the crossroads, so that was kind of cool. But obviously, as a run-of-the-mill end of the show Raw match, pretty, average to slightly above average, I guess, for a Raw match. Nothing too crazy here. This was okay. It was watchable, I guess. And then the Raquel Rodriguez segment with Rhea and Roxanne I thought was watchable as well. Everything else was a complete and utter disaster, and I don't want to ever see any of that stuff ever again. I will not be rewatching anything from this Monday Night Raw, likely ever again. Therefore, this show gets a 1 out of 10. One of the worst Raws I've ever seen. An embarrassment. Rollins and his faction didn't come out, so you know what? I was wrong on that. I thought they were going to come out because that's what the predictable booking has dictated over the last few weeks. Or last few months, I guess, at this point. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, this was a garbage episode, and I'm honestly really looking forward to SmackDown more now because SmackDown's been consistently like at an average level the last couple weeks or slightly above average, so I can deal with SmackDown. SmackDown's watchable. Raw is unwatchable, and it sucks. Thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Let me know what you thought about Raw in the comment sections below. Have a great day. Have a phenomenal day. Have an amazing day. Have a respectable day. And thank you guys for watching. Peace out and one love.
Well, shout out to CJAX for looking out for my homegirl, Raquelio. You know what I'm saying? So now we get a street fight with Rhea Ripley and Raquel Hernandez. But, however, we still got to be concerned about their safety, okay? Even though they're going over there, we still got to be concerned for them because, again, I care about Raquel and Rhea, and I will hate for them to go over there and they don't really have no protection plan. You know what I'm saying? But again, no cancellation. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I just hope to God they don't go nowhere that's far out. You know what I'm saying? But maybe I don't know. If you believe in God, man, just pray for everybody, man, and hopefully they'll be able to make it back safe. But I hope all the flights get canceled, before they go. You know what I'm saying? Because I would hate for them to go over there and they don't even know that if you go over there, there's risk. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that their flights get canceled so that way they won't be able to be stuck over at that side. You know what I mean? When they could just be stuck in America. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Hopefully God have a plan for all of them. Otherwise, I don't know. I just hope they all make it back in one piece. But yeah, man. Just let's just say, if you believe in God, man, just pray for them, man. Pray for all their safety. Pray they make it back safe. Hopefully, hopefully, they'll be stopped before they ever, even get near to the airport. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'd rather for them to cancel flights and say, hey, can't go on. You know what I'm saying? Than for them to, just go there and then they get stuck. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather for them to get stuck in America than get stuck over there. And, so it's Saudi Arabia or whatever they call it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all comment down below, say a prayer to all the superstars that got to compete at Night of Champions. You know what I mean? Shout out to Dominic Mysterio. Shout out to AJ Styles for looking out for their safety. You know what I'm saying? Rather be safe than sorry. You know what I mean? So shout out to one of them for doing that. Actually, shout out to both of them. You know what I'm saying? If they made that decision, you know what I'm saying? Still, it was unnecessary for a fake injury, to be honest. But they could have just kept it blood raw and just say, hey, I don't want to go because I don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? But they had to make up something, so obviously they used a fake injury. Ribs, are you serious, Don? Come on now. But again, whatever. At least they're playing it safe than sorry, right? So that's good. But y'all get in the comment box and let me know what you guys think about tonight's Monday Night Raw. You thought it was mid? You thought it was below mid? You thought it was average? You thought it was good? You thought it was bad? Whatever. The main thing I want to do is just focus on the safety of the people that are booked in this PLE for Night of Champions. So send a prayer to everybody's safety. And if you believe in God, if not, just hope everybody get back safe or get there safe. So get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. Pray for America, man. All right.